Opening right now is the new film from Darren Aronofsky, Mother! Exclamation mark.
Yes.
Starring his real-life partner, Jennifer Lawrence.
We spend all our time here. I want to make a paradise.
She redid all of it, every last detail. And she breathed life back into every room.
And Javier Bardem.
Can I ask you about Jennifer Lawrence?
Go on.
And Darren Aronofsky. Now, I was under the impression, I'm not up to date with all the relationships.
Because you've been spending all your celebrity media time reading about Rebel Wilson. But
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. I was under the impression that Darren Aronofsky, who made a film that I loved called Pi.
Oh, fantastic
I
film.
loved that film.
Yep.
He made a film that I never saw called Black Swan.
Black Swan, yes.
And there's a woman in that film called
Natalie
Portman, who was his partner.
No.
She wasn't?
No. She was a partner of the guy who coached her in dancing, and she's married
The
to him.
actor?
No.
Not Vincent Cassel?
No.
Because he's married to Monica Bellucci. See, actually, I do know quite a bit about the celebrity relationships, don't I? I know what's going on. I know about, what's his name? Kanye and
Yeah.
Kim.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, back to Mother.
Mother. Right. Okay. Jennifer Lawrence plays a woman, barefoot, and eventually pregnant, in the kitchen a lot, in a house, in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, as far as we can tell. It's a massive octagonal Victorian weatherboard mansion that is the home, the childhood home, the all-along home of her husband, who is known only as him. And when I say he's known as him, he's known in the production notes and in the IMDb listings and so on as him. He's never referred to by name in the film, nor is she. She's listed merely as Mother. And they live in this house, and she is restoring it because it burnt down at some point. The first shot of the film is of a woman surrounded by flames and a house in ashes, and then we're into the present day story.
Okay.
Or at least so it seems. Yep. And the film is basically about their relationship, the odd dynamic between them. He is a poet. He's got writer's block. She's working her butt off to restore this house. He's locked away in his room. He's quite nice to her and all the rest, but he's just kind of a little bit distant and ineffectual and not really connecting in any particular way. And then a man turns up called, in the credits, can you guess what he's called? Man. Well done. Played by Ed Harris, who turns up on the doorstep, alleging that he's a doctor and he's looking for lodgings. He was told that he could find a room here, and he's welcomed in by him, Javier Bardem, and he's given a room, and yes, we'd love to have you. Now, Mother, Jennifer Lawrence's character, is rather off-put by this. This is my house, we're working, and who is this guy? You don't know who he is. He could be anybody. And so it turns out he's not actually a doctor. He's a rabid fan of the writer's work. And then a woman turns up.
And she's a fan of Jennifer Lawrence's work.
She might be.
I've been watching you do this. Every day I come past, it's getting better and better.
What you're doing with the plaster is sensational.
Can you come and do mine?
I love it. The woman, you will be surprised to learn, is played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and she's the wife of Man, and she's quite a piece of work. Anyway, we get this kind of odd dynamic where the guests seem to take over the house, and the man of the house is really attentive to them and not particularly attentive to his wife, and it just begins to spiral out of control. More and more people turn up. There's a murder.
Like Exterminating Angel in a way.
It's very Buñuel-like. It's got shades of Buñuel.
I love that film.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll like this film.
You might. At the same time, as all this is going on, there's this kind of haunted house vibe where she leans against the walls and there's a heartbeat, right? There is a murder. A murder happens.
Okay, don't spoil it.
I'm not going to say much more beyond that, but there's blood that sort of seeps into the floor and she can't get rid of it. And then the blood is in the attic, or not in the attic, in the basement rather. It's as if the house is a living, breathing thing in its own right. Okay. So shades here, I would say, of like Repulsion, Polanski's magnificent film with Catherine Deneuve. And it's it's a weird film that's sort of operating in this kind of like critique of the bourgeoisie and their politeness and inability to actually deal with issues and so on, and a haunted house thing. Then it's about her mental stability. Is she going mad? So you've got this kind of unreliable narrator thing, and the camera is basically on her shoulder for about half the film. Right. So echoes there of the magnificent Holocaust film Son of Saul, which I don't know if you saw that, but sensational piece of work. It's a really, really odd piece of work, this film, and utterly fascinating.
You'd expect that.
I think it goes... It's, that kind of mad, manic energy that Pi has got. Multiply that, turn it up to 11, basically.
I have to see that again, Pi.
Oh, it's a great film.
It's just for the people, all those people who don't know about Pi, it's a number, and it's expressed like a little house, like 2 sticks and another stick across it, okay? And if you want to spell it in English words and letters of our alphabet, it's a P and then an I, okay? P, then an I. So if you want to type it in on your whatever you've got, your difference engine there, you're tapping away, put a P and then an I, and then see what you get. You'll get the number, which is a really fascinating number, but you'll also get the film, I reckon. You can watch a little trailer of it.
Can you remember the number in decimal form?
0.14.
3 point.
3.141.
I think it's 1, 2.
Okay.
And something
so
recurring.
I did maths in society in year 12. I wasn't very good at maths at school. And I'm going to blame myself. I'm not going to blame the teachers.
I suspect you did more society than maths.
I did much more society than maths in year 12. That's my problem, and that's why I didn't memorise Pi. Okay, but I did like the film.
Yeah, but you ate lots of pie, right? Ate lots of pie.
No,
pie.
No.
Anyway, so this film is utterly mad. I mean, what I've described...
Is it noisy and
what
fast
I have
and
described
crazy?
is the sane part of the film.
Right, okay.
And then it spirals out of control. And it becomes... The house is invaded. There's battles. It's just insane. It goes completely mad. And I think this is a film that's about so much stuff. It's about religion. It's about environmental degradation. It's about the way societies sort of create and destroy gods, and it's as a very unkind critic wrote, it's a film about everything and nothing. I would disagree insofar as I don't think it's about nothing. Okay. I think it's about a hell of a lot. Whether it pulls it off or not, I'm still kind of muddling through in my head. But I'm leaning towards a view that this is actually an incredibly inspired, profound, messy piece of work that's absolutely worth checking out. And I can't wait to read the reviews of this, because I think they're going to be wildly split, like massively. This is brilliant and this is terrible, and I really think it's such a challenging piece of work that I love it.
I did say to you earlier, off mic, that I had seen the trailer of this and it was not coherent and was a whole lot of disassociated images that made no sense. And you said, that's it. It's exactly what it is. And I've got nothing against films like that. I think there should definitely be films like that. There's room for all the types of films. I mean, all the types of good films. There's not room for the ones that aren't good in my life. But I've seen some of Aronofsky's work. I'm happy to see some more.
I've seen quite a bit of his work, and I've got to say that there's an obsession with faith and religion and sort of spirituality in his work. I mean, it's there probably least of all in Black Swan, but it's certainly there in Pi. It's there in Requiem for a Dream to a degree. It's there in The Fountain. It's obviously there in Noah,
Now, Noah. Have you got just 2 sentences on Noah for me there, brother? Got just 2 sentences on old Noah. It's played by
Russell Crowe.
And I think Ray Winstone's in it too, isn't he?
He's in it, Ray. He's in there, yeah.
So 2 sentences on Noah, just to help us, find a place for Noah.
A bloody big boat with lots of animals And I thought the film was actually okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
You did not hate it.
As
Good.
biblical epics go, it was pretty good, I thought.
want to like biblical epics.
Do you?
Know? I do. I want to like them. I want to. And it's hard.
Yeah.
Because they're so they want to be such a giant, magnificent, gargantuan thing that it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of, I know, I think it looked great. I think it looked great. And what I liked about it, though, wasn't the spectacle so much, although, you know, there's some pleasure to be had in that.
Flood, man. It's
There's a
big flood.
Yeah. A lot of water. I liked the fact that it had a character in Noah who is struggling with the demands of his God, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's like Scorsese's Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah.
It's about faith and doubt, you know, and that's intrinsically interesting. I think.
You know what we should do? We should talk about Bible films
next time.
Next time, okay? You tune in for the next Clappers, and we're going to talk about Bible films, all right? Yes.
Anyway, The Mother is hitting the cinemas now.
Yeah.
I'd urge anybody who's got a high tolerance for being weirded out to check it out.
Well, there you go. Lots of urgings from Carl and myself.